Let me guess. You've watched someone pick up a skill, coding, playing an instrument, speaking a new language, and they just get it. Meanwhile, you're on your third YouTube tutorial still trying to figure out where to even start. And you start thinking, maybe you're just not a fast learner. Maybe that kind of brain isn't wired into your head. But here's the truth, fast learners aren't born. They're trained. And the best ones? They're not just learning the skill, they've learned how to learn. That's called meta-learning. And today, I'm going to walk you through how it works, and how you can use it to learn almost anything faster, more effectively, and with way less frustration. Let's get into it. So first, what even is meta-learning? Meta-learning is basically learning how to learn. It's understanding the best way you absorb information, the patterns behind how skills are built, and how to avoid wasting time with stuff that looks productive, but actually isn't. Most of us were never taught how to study, how to practice, or how to break down complex topics. We just read the chapter, cross our fingers, and hope some of it sticks. But meta-learners? They approach learning like a craft. They ask, what's the fastest path to actually mastering this? And it starts with choosing the right techniques. Let's break down 3 that can change everything: the Feynman Technique, chunking, and deliberate practice. Let's start with the Feynman Technique. This one is simple but powerful. It's named after Richard Feynman, a Nobel Prize-winning physicist who believed that if you can't explain something simply, you don't really understand it. Here's how it works. Step 1. Choose the concept you're trying to learn. Let's say it's recursion in programming, or verb conjugation in Spanish. Step 2. Try explaining that concept as if you're teaching it to a 10-year-old. Not using fancy words. Not repeating definitions. Actually explaining it in your own words. Step 3. Pay attention to where you get stuck. That's where the gap in your understanding lives. Step 4. Go back, learn that part better, and try again. It sounds basic. But the act of trying to teach forces your brain to connect the dots, not just remember random info. Try this. Next time you're learning something new, don't just take notes. Flip the paper over, and explain it back to yourself in plain English. Or record a voice memo pretending you're teaching a friend. It's awkward at first. But it's insanely effective. Next up, chunking. Your brain doesn't like learning 100 random things. It likes patterns. It likes structure. Chunking is the process of grouping information into meaningful units so you can remember more with less effort. Here's an example. Let's say you're trying to memorize a phone number, 365,289,143. As one long number? Good luck. But break it into chunks, 365, 289, 143, and suddenly it's easier. Now apply that to learning. When you study vocabulary, group words by category or root. When you learn guitar chords, group them by shape or sound. When you learn coding, chunk syntax into reusable patterns. You're not just memorizing, you're organizing. That's how your brain builds a map of what you're learning. The more structure you give the skill, the faster it becomes automatic. So instead of trying to learn everything at once, ask yourself, what's the smallest cluster of concepts I can master first? Then build from there. Chunking is your shortcut to smart learning. And then there's deliberate practice. This is where a lot of people mess up. Because not all practice is created equal. Deliberate practice isn't just repeating the same thing over and over. It's intentional. It targets your weak spots. It's uncomfortable, and that's the point. Here's what it looks like. Let's say you're learning how to play the piano. Instead of running through the whole song from start to finish, you zoom in on the 2 measures you keep messing up, and you hammer just those until they feel smooth. Or maybe you're learning French. Instead of watching movies and hoping you absorb it, you focus on mastering one verb tense, using it in 10 different sentences, and getting feedback. The best athletes, musicians, and coders don't just practice a lot, They target their practice. So next time you sit down to learn, ask, what's one specific thing I can improve today? Not everything. Just one. Then go all in on that piece. Track your progress. Rinse and repeat. Deliberate practice turns mindless repetition into real skill building. Now let's tie this all together with a real example. Let's say you want to learn a new language. Here's how a meta-learner would approach it. First, use the Feynman Technique. After learning a grammar rule, explain it in your own words, maybe to a friend, or just out loud to yourself. Teach it like you're in charge of the lesson. Second, chunk the vocabulary. Group words by themes, like food, emotions, or travel. That way, your brain doesn't have to work as hard to remember them. Third, practice deliberately. Don't just scroll Duolingo. Write a full sentence using a new word. Record yourself speaking. Focus on fixing one specific mistake. And finally, reflect. Ask yourself weekly, what worked? What didn't? What should I do differently next time? That's meta-learning in action. And you can apply it to anything. Coding, public speaking, drawing, sports, studying for exams. If you know how to learn, no topic is off limits. Let's be real for a second. We all learn at different paces. Some things come naturally, others don't. That's okay. But being a slow learner isn't a life sentence. And being a fast learner isn't about being gifted. It's about being strategic. It's about building systems, testing what works, and getting better at learning itself. And once you unlock that, you'll be shocked how much faster you pick up new skills. You don't need a magic brain. You need better tools. And now, you've got them. If this gave you something useful, give it a like. Tag a friend who always says, I wish I could learn faster, and subscribe for more content that makes learning feel real, human, and possible. And yeah, hit the bell so you don't miss what's next. See you in the next one.